Gobble, gobble, motherfucker.
They're eating her. And then they're going to eat me. Oh my God!
Estrogen levels peaking. It's like she's in heat.
When are you gonna grow up, man? Chicks love cars. If you want to get into their pants, you better have a nice, hot Ferrari.
She's my hot Ferrari. Besides, I love my Mustang, which is a plug-in hybrid. It gets 100 mpg.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah! Out of my eyes!
Hello and welcome to episode 15 of Schlock Talk. Parking our car in the handicapped space in front of the liquor store of cinema without the proper permit since 2013. Tonight's episode is Mr. No Legs from 1979, although I think it was shot well before that.
What, Craig? You didn't like this movie?
This movie blew so many chunks.
Oh
my god, it was like an unending Gabe joke. It just needed to die.
The movie is directed by Rico Browning.
Oh, wow.
So tonight's intro directly addresses Mr. Browning, by the way.
Was he related
Fuck
to
you,
Todd
Mr.
Browning?
Browning.
I don't
Freaks
know.
fame?
Now you're saying like,
Freaks. That would make sense.
are you saying Mr. Browning wrote a couple episodes of Mork and Mindy or something like that?
So, yeah,
It's very
Rico
Morkish and Mindy-ish.
No.
Rico
Joni
Browning.
and Chachi.
He directed several episodes of Flipper and Gentleman.
For real, for real.
For real, for real.
That's great.
The not so good episodes of your show, too.
It's the one that involved drug dealers and amputees.
And
Yeah.
pedophiles.
Flipper, stop fucking little Billy.
His name was Sandy Ray.
Flipper,
Your
fucking little
blowhole
Sandy.
is nice.
Flipper, which was just friggin' some bastard water lassie or some crap like that, right?
Water lassie. What is it, girl? Is Timmy drowning in the well? Oh, the ocean?
Can we get you from the well to the ocean? That'll be tough.
Oh, God. So, an open letter to the director of Mr. No Legs.
Ooh.
First of all, Rico Browning, if you're going to name your movie Mr. No Legs, the guy missing 100% of his legs should probably be in more than 10% of the movie.
One would hope.
Well, what a 10%.
I see on your IMDb page that you directed several episodes of both Gentle Ben and Flipper, but just because those two shows were named after the most unusual or interesting characters in them does not mean you get to name your film after the guy who is barely in more than 5 scenes in your whole movie.
You know, it makes a lot of sense that this guy spent a lot of time directing animals.
Well, I mean, like, seriously, like, what was he thinking? It's like, it's a title that sticks. I don't know what the cover art for the DVD or the VHS or the 8mm or the, I don't know, kaleidoscope thing that people would turn or whatever.
The Zoetrope.
The zoetrope people would turn or whatever look like, you know? But I imagine that was the Samurai Cop of the day. It was the most deceptive title ever.
Think about this amputee dude, though.
Yeah.
This movie is named after him, and he's not even in it.
Yeah.
So if I'm like sitting around, so let's say it's 1970s, right? And I just got done dropping acid on the disco floor.
Disco Inferno.
And Paul comes to me and he goes, "Hey brother, I just got some groovy news. There's this movie called Mr. No Legs, and he's this shotgun wheelchair freaking ninja. We gotta go see that." As soon as these aliens across the bar stop staring at us, and I quit freaking out.
Can you make them stop?
We should go see this movie. Doesn't that sound freaking awesome? Heck yeah. That's like the Samurai Cop or Kill Bill or something like that. I just expect nothing but insanity. And we got insanity after some boring ass
Yeah, we
opening
became
credits
insane.
Yeah.
for about 30 seconds of the film.
So, Mr. Browning, I understand why you would not call a TV show about a friendly bear and a little boy he continually puts off eating, Clint Howard, Even though that creepy little fucker was not only the best thing about that show, but was also the best thing that ever happened to Star Trek. Have some Tranya? Yes, please. But back to the matter at hand. You see, if you call your movie Mr. No Legs, you gotta show those stumps. I want to see this guy bang a chick, butt naked.
I want to see grenades fucking launching from his stumps. God damn it!
I want to know how all this works. I don't want that guy ruminating on how to take over a ring of drug runners unless he's on screen and from the opening credits until the final showdown. And I want that freak show emphasizing the fact that he's less than a man. Hell, less than human from the word go. It's not like I don't get it, man. You made a movie at a time on a budget when a crippled dude with shotguns rigged into his wheelchair took up half the production costs. Nowadays, with the internet, we expect to see all the mechanics involved with someone who gets from one end of town to the other with a computerized jazzy scooter that they control with their prehensile genitalia. And you failed to adequately produce the freakishness we all crave. Now, I know we are likely mere months away from being able to walk into a club and lay down our money for roborgies with robostitutes. But Mr. No Legs was made in the 70s, and you didn't even have the common decency to show us how the guy takes a piss. For shame, Mr. Browning. For shame.
Wow.
It's hard to follow up.
Like, where could you have gone with this? I mean, like, maybe... Like, for instance, like, I mean, it's crazy. Like, he could have done something awesome. Like, maybe, like, his stumps have little demon faces on them and he just fucking shoots fire or something like that.
No, there was none of that.
It's like, so this director directed kids shows. I guess he just never grew up. Right?
Yeah.
I guess his target audience was kids. He's like, yeah, kids, they don't change.
Kids, let's put a amputee in a wheelchair with shotguns.
Kids love
it.
Love
Saw that episode of Captain Kangaroo. The kids went nuts.
Oh, God. So Mr. No Legs opens up.
So I got a question. The main actor, is he a real amputee? Or were they doing some crazy...
He wasn't the main actor! Have we not discussed this?
Oh, yeah.
10%
I'm sorry.
Movie.
No, they used CGI in
I'm saying,
1979.
did they use green screen for this, or is he really an amputee?
He's really a puppet.
They had a
It's
fucking
practical
puppeteer
effects.
up above him with like the two little things that manipulate the strings with.
Mr. No Legs.
They couldn't get a guy who was talented enough to use legs. That's how they had to change the whole fucking movie title.
He's like, wait. Don't add more than 2 strings to the marionette.
Oh, God. So Mr. No Legs, the movie,
Why is Italian?
opens up.
Hey, fuck you,
It opens up with Colonel Sanders making gun barrels or something. It's like really unclear.
Okay, I got Colonel Sanders and Orville Redenbacher rolling joints.
That's a party you can go to, man.
I say you're rolling it wrong, boy.
You got
Get a big old fatty.
right from there. That's where popcorn chicken got fucking invented. The meeting of those two, right?
These guys getting stoned. They're like, and
Dude, how do we take the popcorn and the chicken and make them work together? You take small pieces.
Reese's
of
did it
chicken.
with chocolate and peanut butter.
So I forgot to ask Alan. You haven't seen this movie. What'd you think about it?
What are you currently thinking about as you watch it?
It looks pretty terrible. I've
Really?
just gotten through 6 minutes of it, and I just saw like the credits scene, which is a bit crazy. It's like this weird 50s Batman style, like bam, pam, sham. But instead of those words, it's like starring this person, casting director over here. Like,
Shot
that's
to
the
the
latest
nuts.
special
Gaffer
effects.
Sharon blah blah blah.
So a guy gets on a freight elevator, and nope, we realize they're not making gun barrels. They're packing drugs into cigars and smuggling dope in corn husks.
Yeah,
Hey, we've seen it done
product?
in bread dough before. How have
Stuffed
we
in
not
burlap
seen this
sacks.
shit done before? Always some inventive drug smuggling craze with these fucking movies.
And so the two main guys are kind of running the show here at the warehouse. Those are the kind of the drug cartel lieutenants, Lou and Tony.
Okay, I felt like everyone cast in this movie was like from the movie Anchorman.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Either that or like the Beastie Boys Sabotage video. I don't know.
Yeah, they all look like that.
Some
And
guys
so,
packing coke into pills too.
yeah. And so Lou, who's the lieutenant guy with the mustache, he gets a call and heads out to the harbor to check something out. And we find out that there's a drug bust going on at the docks, and the police are there attacking some smugglers.
Okay.
And about this time, the credits start happening. We find out that the stars are Richard Jekyll, who was in the awesome Green Slime from 1968, and the awesomely named Ron Slinker, who's actually not Mr. No Legs.
Mr. No Legs, as he's just got one name, Bob.
Yeah. And especially in the pool scene. And probably, like I say, Mr. No Legs is not Ron Slinker, because the world is in no way ready for that kind of ironic radness. Also, there are some people listed in the cast as the Danger Angels, although at no time during the film is it in any way apparent who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess they must have been
Who are those people?
I guess they must have been that Sonny Bono and Cher band. That played disco,
Oh, that was so
disco
fucking
ballroom.
horrible.
It's like bad.
I just want to say at this point that everyone in this film had a mustache.
Yes.
Men, women, children,
Trees.
dogs and cats.
Ambulances. And so the cops duke it out at the harbor and karate kick the drug dealers, and they arrest them and take them back to the station. And then meanwhile, at the drug warehouse, some dudes with stocking caps load some totally heavy drugs. And I don't mean like heavy like heroin. I mean like they're really
Giant
heavy
burlap sacks.
Yeah,
Like,
of
why aren't
drugs.
you wearing like your weight belt or whatever? Your lifting harness.
And while they're doing this, we finally meet Mr. No Legs, and he has sawed-off shotguns in the armrests of his wheelchair, and he blows away these two guys.
And he's like the only one in the movie without a stash.
No,
Yes.
sorry. What is his... Okay, what is he fucking doing? Is he working for the cartel? Because the guys are like trying to steal some drugs, right?
Yeah.
And like, that guy's pretty like, I guess like penny pinching Scrooge McDuck of freaking corncob husk cocaine.
You can't be letting motherfuckers steal your cocaine. That sets a precedent. You cannot have a precedent where you let these people come in and steal your fucking drugs. Do you not understand the concept of being a drug lord, Joel? Come on, man! This is fucking basic shit.
He speaks the truth.
So, when Mr. No Legs blew these guys away, I thought to myself, this gimp is a pimp.
Okay. Why did they name him? Like, why is the whole movie about this one guy that's barely in the film?
Well, we don't know that yet.
Does
That's
he
the
have
thing.
an actual name in the film? I mean, they don't actually call him Mr. No Legs.
I think they-
do they?
I did not make a note of what this guy's
I
actual
don't know what
name
his name
is.
is.
Wow, he's so unimportant. He doesn't even get an actual name, but he is the titular character of the whole
And-
film.
Yeah, and why
And-
Mr. No Legs of all the things you can name him? I mean, were they trying to set him apart? Because he's already missing legs.
See to piss him off.
Not only that, on the IMDb page, he's listed under the wrong name. The wrong actor's name.
So, if being legless isn't enough, I guess you can't stand out in a crowd if you're legless.
I just have to shake my head at that right now. I apologize, listeners.
And so we quickly realized that
Southern
I
accent.
don't know.
Mr. No Legs is a criminal and not the hero of the movie that carries his name. And so he wheels out of the warehouse, and the guy in the car tells him, "They tried to rip us off." And the guy in the car tells Mr. No Legs, "You better get out of here fast," which I found amazingly insensitive and amazingly hysterical.
How much more fucking typecast can you get than being a legless guy who's a crime lord? I mean, my God.
We've seen that so many times.
And I didn't see a handicap permit hanging from the rearview mirror of that Cadillac. Bullshit. Hollywood never does research.
Hold on a second. According to IMDb, Ted Volrath, the guy who played Mr. No Legs, is the first person with no legs to earn a black belt.
You have not gotten to that part in the movie yet. He does some badass kung fu shit, but we'll get to that.
But what I'm saying is,
He does stunt
if a
food.
son of a bitch with no fucking leg can become a black belt in karate, my penis can beat you up.
And the really sad thing is, his black belt's always falling off.
Shit.
So while all this is happening, we see a scene of Tony and Lou, and they're unload the drugs back at the KFC with Colonel Sanders.
I'll tell you all, those drugs are good.
Can I add one more thing from IMDb real quick?
Yeah.
I'm just going to quote here. Ted put on an impressively vigorous and exciting display of his martial arts prowess in a simply incredible protracted set piece which occurs halfway through the picture. Simply incredible protracted set piece.
Yeah.
Protracted means it's like 60 seconds long.
I got a
It
protracted
was
cod
longer
piece.
than that, and it was. We'll get to what it is, because I got some bones to pick with that scene too.
Yeah, we'll get there.
It's dumb.
So the scene then switches to a nighttime pool party, and we meet Mr. D'Angelo, a hoity-toity who is Mr. Big in the drug ring.
And let me tell you, like...
Wait, was this before or after they moved manure sacks around for 45 minutes?
The pool party looks bad. It looks like pictures of, like, family reunions that, like, my grandparents would show me in their dusty freaking photo albums. Like, man, cameras were really shitty in the 70s, weren't they, Grandma?
So we also learn... we also learn...
These are stone tablets we chiseled.
We also learned that Mr. No Legs is Mr. D'Angelo's like right-hand man, and is like his.
Well, he's obviously not his right leg man.
Naturally, Craig.
You'll be my arms and legs of the arms of the operation.
Man, you could fit like...
Well, I guess we can say he didn't get advanced to the organization because he was a foot ahead. Whatever that means, I don't know.
Jesus Christ, man.
So the scene switches again, and we meet Ken. And Ken comes home from his girlfriend.
One step ahead. That's what I should have said.
Sorry.
Can we go back?
No,
we
it's
can't.
too late.
You
Paul.
really don't want to repeat that joke.
Forever recorded in eternity.
And Ken,
I'm
he
sorry,
comes home.
listeners.
Comes home, and he finds his girlfriend packing up, and she's getting ready to leave him. She's like packing her
Is that
bags.
what was happening at that point in time?
Yeah.
I didn't make any sense of that scene whatsoever because it was so fucking boring I was falling asleep.
And we find out that the girlfriend's name is Tina, and she's found a stash of dope that he has in the apartment that they live in together. And he tells her that he just keeps it around to help pay for college. And then they have like an argument. They struggle a little bit. She falls down. She gets killed.
Okay, I just
Yeah,
want to...
no, yeah. He, like,
guys, listen,
pushes
you're all
her-
important to me.
Yeah.
According to this film, never take one step backwards into a TV. It's fatal.
Yeah, seriously. She was just like walking, and then she hits her head on the back of the TV, and it's almost as if it was filled with like freaking cyanide gas.
And it kills her immediately.
Guys, I'm pretty sure we could just keep a vacuum in that too. It'd be just fine. The display will be just fine. No cyanide, because it's the '60s and spying is the shit. And the CIA can do no wrong.
Well, technically, it's the 70s.
Yeah.
Joel. So Ken calls Lou, and he shows up to the apartment with Mr. No Legs, and Ken tells these guys that Tina's brother is a cop, right?
Damn! Her brother is a cop?
Does he say that?
He does.
Okay. At the police station, we meet Tina's brother Andy and another guy named Chuck, and we learn that both of them are the detectives, and they're kind of like the protagonists of Mr. No Legs, right?
How many minutes was it in before we met the protagonist?
4.
38.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
4 minutes, 38 minutes, somewhere in there.
Time loses all meaning in the deluge of crap that you have to watch in this movie. As I was reminded of often, no matter how many times I asked, it was only 10 minutes into the fucking movie. It wouldn't end!
So back at the apartment, Lou injects Tina with some heroin to try and make it look like she OD'd. And then they drive into the woods and they dump Tina's body, but Mr. No Legs shoots Ken too, and they dump him as well.
Why do you take the time to remove this woman's body to a distant place to kill the person who was the only getting moved? You just kill him right there and walk away. Just save yourself some time.
Are you speaking from experience?
I am, you know. Those chicks protest too much.
She doth protest too much.
So it's
Hadn't
Shakespearean,
been my
really.
surgery
Your
today.
experiences with women are Shakespearean.
Yeah,
Tragedies?
She doth protest.
They're all
too much.
tragedies.
Yeah, well,
Or
that's true.
comedies.
Yeah.
Shut up.
So back at the morgue, Chuck sees Tina's body and he says, "OD! Not her! Not that way!" And then Andy, who it turns out is her brother, he comes in, he sees Tina's body, and he hugs the police chief who's there as well. And he says, and then he goes to the bar, turning to drink and stand-up comedy for solace.
Oh God, this guy looks like freaking Wayne Newton's like
Okay,
older.
this is when that band
special
plays,
needs
right?
brother.
We're getting there, yeah, we're getting there.
He looks so bad.
And so we also get to hear a song at this time from that million-selling record group, The Fantastic Mercy, with "I Still Remember Love."
Man, the guy singer is horrible. He's like child, like molester material. Right there.
It's like if Wayne Newton was borned.
What?
Okay.
What the hell does that even mean? He was born aborted? What the fuck?
And this
Paul, shut up.
this band is so terrible.
I think I just had a stroke. I don't know.
They're so terrible. I think they made Andy actually feel worse than they did when he saw his dead sister's body. And
Well, I was just thinking about getting over my sister's death and moving on with life, and now I definitely have to kill myself. I can't live with the fact that I saw this show. What do my friends say?
That's how
Someone
I felt
finds
like
out.
every minute of this entire movie.
And so after Andy is serenaded by the Fantastic Mercy, he
was no mercy.
gets consoled by this Mexican barfly lady, and she's played by an actress named Sahela.
Now, was this not a relationship that had happened before? Because I couldn't really tell.
It was very unclear.
Okay.
But she
Really
seemed
tell.
to know him.
She's just like, oh, I just go
Biblically,
sleep with
or
strange
just
dudes that
regularly?
are
Well, later
annoying.
on, biblically, yeah.
Well, they did have that heavenly scene coming up next.
Yeah, she takes him back to her place for a little post-dead family member bang.
So was that room? Was it filled with cotton candy?
I thought it was covered with wall-to-wall fur and wall mirrors.
It had clouds on the ground,
Disco
man.
heaven.
Disco heaven.
It was wild. And so while he's doing this, back at the station, the chief and Chuck are talking about that Chuck's going to head up the investigation into Tina's murder. And they also discuss, at this point, they know that the OD was fake, right?
So is this like? Did you mention when they talked to the landlady?
Oh, we're getting there. That doesn't happen yet. That
Okay,
hasn't happened
all
yet. And Chuck's...
It's like a bad foam mattress got cut open and laid on her
And
floor.
so...
No, the bed scene, it looks like someone murdered a bunch of polar bears.
I
on
thought
the
like
floor.
someone was shearing sheep before they went into that fucking...
It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
And he looks dead. He looks like, wow, I am so turned on right
He's
now
like-
and I'm a corpse.
I know. Don't you love my mustache, lady?
Right.
Suck my dick, I guess.
He wakes up
That's
in
what
the
it's like.
morning.
Hey,
His
you know
face.
his sister just died.
But it's like,
Cut him
he's-
some
So
slack.
he sleeps with cheap Mexican whores who hang out in bars and we're supposed to feel
well,
bad
it's
for him?
funny because she just walks up to him and like, oh my god, it's like he just had a close family member die. Hey, time to get some.
She knew his name at least, I guess. She's like, Bill, I know you're feeling
And
bad right
the thing
now,
is
but
like the
I wanna
dude
ride
was
the
already
mustache.
passed out in disco heaven, and she just like lays next to him and everything. And then next morning, there she is. She's walking in the gown. She's like, I got you scrambled eggs and cigarettes.
There are worse ways to get up in the morning.
So Chuck,
Mexican whores with eggs and cigarettes.
back at the police station, Chuck looks through Tina's things and uses his, no doubt, top-end investigational skills to deduce that she's living off campus. And he gets her address, maybe even by figuring out how to look onto her driver's license. And he goes there to find the landlady mowing the lawn.
You mean Andy
Bitch.
Dick?
Landlady Andy Dick. And so she lets Chuck into the apartment. He finds blood on the floor.
Possibly the only thing that could make this movie worse is if Andy Dick really were in it.
No,
And
the
he
only,
is.
but on a side note,
That's
the
how
only way
bad
to
this
make
movie
it
is.
better is if the detective was Flipper. That would be fucking rad.
She does look like Andy Dick.
If Gentle Ben ate them at the end of the movie, that would have made it better.
So the landlady lets Chuck into the apartment. He finds a pool of blood on the floor.
In the Flipper's mouth.
Or maybe just an hour
Two
and a half.
animals, one cup.
Snowballing.
Maybe just an hour and a half
Vor
long
style.
gif of a bear fucking a dolphin.
I've seen that. Blowhole will never be the same.
You can breathe easier.
So Chuck also finds a picture of Tina's boyfriend, Ken. And he goes back to the station and tells the chief about what's going on between Ken and Tina and that they were living together. Yeah. And so back at the D'Angelo house, Mr. No Legs gets a phone call letting him know that the cops are looking for Ken. And D'Angelo tells Mr. No Legs that he better get this one right or he's going to find himself on a street corner with a tin cup and a handful of lead pencils.
Yeah, that's right.
Where the fuck did the lead pencils?
Why do we not
Yeah,
see that
graphite
nowadays?
wasn't invented yet, right? It was
Yes.
the 70s.
Did they, like, the homeless people sell pencils back in the day to make a living? Is that how it worked?
Can you write
Or-
with lead?
Yeah, you can.
That's crazy.
And so
Why
Mr.
don't
No
you see
Legs...
that nowadays? I wish I'd see a homeless person with a tin cup and a bunch of lead pencils.
And it'd be even better if they had no legs.
Yeah, no legs, yeah.
That'd be great.
Gabe, put the chubby away, man.
Okay,
put it
sorry.
down. Tuck it in.
And if their
Tuck
last
it in.
name was like Slinky or Slurpee or some sort of slimy motion, that'd be even better.
Mr. No Legs decides he's not going to have any of this, and he's going to take over the drug ring with the help of Tony. And so, while all this is happening, Andy and Chuck are staking out a pawnbrokers, and they see a pimp coming out of the shop. And Andy says, what he's pushing, you stroke, you don't smoke. Which I thought was pretty awesome.
That was the best line of the movie, right there.
So, Mr. No Legs meets at a bar with a chick named Bessie, while a goofy, dorky guy picks up on the most obvious tranny.
Okay, that's
Like,
what
you're
I've
missing
written in
a
my
scene.
notes.
I'm sorry, you're missing the friggin' pool scene before that when Mr. No Legs gets the phone call. So he's sitting there at a place, I think, right where the phone's on the table. And he's like, oh, I need a little bit of privacy. He puts the phone on his shoulder and starts rolling away with what must be the longest fucking telephone cord
Have you noticed?
ever.
All the phone scenes in this movie, there was a scene where that couple are like out on a picnic in the middle of the woods and the phone rings.
Yeah, seriously.
She's like, hello?
That's before cell phones,
No, it'll
bro.
take
You
us
had to
40
have
minutes to
phone
hike
call.
back. Okay, we'll see you in a bit.
And so he sees the most obvious tranny,
This side of Gabe.
American, transsexual American, the most obvious shim of all time. And Bessie...
Gender non-specific is what
Bessie gets into a fight
Have you
with...
seen The Crying Game?
I've lived the
I've
crying
seen
game.
it. You've
You've
lived, the
lived
crying
it?
game?
This
Why is that not
he
a
looks
movie?
feminine. I mean, I'm just saying.
this is the Vomit Games.
So Bessie gets into a fight with a white girl, and the tranny gets his wig ripped off, and a midget.
Yeah, you know, I
Yeah.
don't know what was going
That's my
on
whole
with this.
scene.
I don't know what's going on with this like bar fight scene, but it was so crazy. It's like something out of a cartoon,
It was
like
wild.
Pink Panther bar fight.
This
scene or
might
something
totally
like that.
date me like I haven't done that yet. You guys remember those little wooden airplanes with they were powered by a rubber band?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Balsa wood, yeah.
Okay, well, when this movie was made, what, like 1972? Nine? Okay. Anyways, that year there was a huge balsa wood shortage because it was all used on this set.
I don't even draw the parallel anymore. I don't know. Okay.
No, because everything was breakaway. There was so much. Every piece of furniture broke. Every wall broke.
The swords on the wall are obviously made out
Yeah,
of
what
balsa
the hell
wood.
would a sword
Yeah.
do on the wall of a bar?
This is the creepiest bar. Like if you walked in this bar, you're like, no.
And you get the midget like shadow boxing in the corner with his pimp hat on. There was a visual there that you were glad you didn't see, but
Yeah.
So the white girl, she
Resembled
tries
masturbation.
to choke Bessie out with the phone cord and winds up getting stabbed with a broken bottle.
happens.
And Mr. No Legs stabs the white girl, and then Andy barges into the bar and just randomly starts beating the shit out of everyone.
Gratuitous bar fight scene.
And
Like, was this like something? It was just like you just had a time of day. It's like it's bar fight 30, dude. Let's go. It looks so routine.
Bar fight 30. That's going on a t-shirt. Right there with Hung Like a Horse Thief.
That's a good one.
And so also I realized at this point in the movie that appears to take place in the same universe as Dead Rising. What with all the swords just sitting there on the wall in this bar. And also Mr. No Legs' shotgun wheelchair was clearly made on a workbench in the maintenance tunnel of the Willamette Mall. And so we find out that the white girl gets bottle stabbed was Andy's confidential informant, but now she's dead. And after this, we see that drugs are being dealt to guys in half shirts, while Mr. No Legs does the creepiest push-ups ever. And Lou tells Mr. No Legs at this time that Ken's body is not where they dumped it anymore. So the police have recovered Ken's body. So Lou and another guy have an ambulance apparently set aside for just such sort of problems. And that he and one of...
You don't have one?
I don't have an ambulance. He and one of the goons, Mr. No Legs'
You
goons...
can borrow mine.
Let's just forget about the ambulance, Paul.
Paul, what do you do with those trauma victims once you put them in the back of your
What would you
ambulance?
call like
Is there like
paraplegic push-ups or something like that? Like he's lifting his ass up behind his head and everything.
Ass ups?
Is there like a rotating restraint bed in the back of your ambulance and a glitter disco ball that comes down from the roof?
Something like that.
I want to know.
Lots of straps.
Lots of straps.
So Lou and one of the goons decide to go in the ambulance to the morgue to get Ken's body. And Chuck, the detective, calls Andy. He calls Andy and his bitch, the wall-to-wall fur lady, whose name is Gwen, by the way. She tells him to go to the morgue and ID Ken's body. And so everyone arrives at the morgue at more or less the same time, and Lou and the other guy try to convince the most stoned medical examiner in history to hand over the body so they can take him to the funeral home. And we will definitely have a picture of this morgue attendant up. And so Lou and the minion guy and Andy and Chuck all get into a bar fight.
That was a scene I don't remember. They all get into a nurse?
It must be.
That was the director's cut.
Yes. It must be Morgue Fight 30 as well, because they all get into a big fight. And so Lou and his buddy, they take out Chuck and Andy, but they get away in the ambulance. And Andy's able to identify Ken's body, and he connects Ken to the organization, which seems like a very generous use of the word organization. And one of Andy's other confidential informants tells him that he needs to meet with him at an abandoned restaurant, the nautically themed one with all the swords on the wall from just a few minutes prior. And the confidential informant is then stabbed in the guts by Mr. No Legs, and for some reason, Andy decides to leave his gun with Gwen when he goes to meet it with the confidential informant at the shady, deserted restaurant, because that seems like a great idea.
No, he'd left his gun in the car, and then she gave him, like, this little Derringer tiny pistol.
Derringer.
And so, at this point, Mr. No Legs decides to shoot Lou for some reason, right? I don't remember why he does this.
Does there have to be a reason?
Okay.
It's Mr. No Legs.
He's just angry, and he's crippled, and that's all.
Wouldn't you be bitter?
He was jealous on his stint on Happy Days before he turned into a director.
Yeah, and then this is awesome. This is where the Dead Rising comes into effect, and people start grabbing those swords on the wall.
And so, back at the restaurant, finally someone with his goddamn head screwed on straight decides to grab a sword down off the wall and fight somebody with it.
I think we established these were made of balsa wood.
But then him grabbing the sword leads to the only known Corvette versus sword fight scene in cinema history.
That is pretty great. And I just want to say there's an ongoing theme in this movie. The guy is trying to drive away in his Corvette, and I don't know why. I guess he forgot where the accelerator pedal was. I don't know what happened. But for some reason, he drives 5 miles an hour into this wall of empty cardboard boxes. It just happens to be in the middle of the parking lot.
How convenient.
And so Andy, at one point, the sword gets stuck, like sticking out of the car or something, and Andy karate kicks the guy, and he falls onto the sword and dies. Right?
These things happen.
It's a noble
Then
death.
once again, his partner pulls up right as he's like killed people.
Right. Yeah. If I had a
I
nickel,
can't take you anywhere. You're a mess.
If I had a nickel for every time I had a
referring to
sword
myself.
sticking out of my Corvette and I accidentally karate kicked somebody into it, causing them to
I'd
be
be a rich
impaled and
man.
die. Exactly. So Chuck realizes that Mr. No Legs is one of D'Angelo's enforcers, and he also somehow determines that the police chief is part of the organization and he's crooked. I don't understand, but he figures it all out.
I mean,
And
you know,
so
it's a leap of faith to figure out that the guy's chief enforcer is a guy in a wheelchair with no legs. It's kind of second-hand mafia where this is your muscle.
We're outsourcing our enforcement.
When you say secondhand, I think Goodwill, which is where he works.
Secondhand.
So Mr. No Legs is back at D'Angelo's house, like hanging out by the pool, right?
Yep.
And he tells some of the goons that he's going to take over the organization. But we also learn that D'Angelo not only actually calls him No Legs, like that's his name.
Hey, No Legs.
But he has a plan to have him bumped off. He's done with this guy. He's made too many mistakes. And so we also find out that the chief, the crooked chief, that his name is Hathaway, and Chuck and Andy have figured out that they're going to trail him and figure out where he's going.
Yep.
Am I following it okay
No,
here?
that's right. Yeah, they basically do a stake out of the chief.
Because the chief is bad for reasons we still haven't figured out.
Yeah, not apparent from the start.
And so back at D'Angelo's place, Mr. No Legs is like lounging around, hanging out by the pool, and some of the goons try and take him out. And he's clearly one of the missing crippled masters from the Crippled Masters movie.
Starring Jackie Chan.
And so he karate chops one guy, he throws a ninja star at another guy, and hits the third guy in the balls with his balls. And then in the
Ninja
chest
star
with
on
his
the
butt.
axle of his wheelchair.
Okay,
So
I
classic.
took the liberty to name some of these fight
Yeah,
moves
Paul,
that he did.
take it away.
First one he does is the stump jump, followed by the phantom limb lunge, the torso toss, and the no knees nut knocker.
You know, how hard is it to kill a guy in a wheelchair? These 5 guys come at a guy who has no legs, and they still can't beat the shit out of him or kill him. Have they not heard of the gun? Was this predating the use of firearms?
No, because he has shotguns in his wheelchair.
He does have shotguns in his wheelchair.
Which
Why
he
don't
doesn't use during the scene.
Why do the other people not have shotguns outside of their wheelchairs that they can use to kill him?
Dude, I wouldn't kick his ass.
You don't hire the world's only amputee black belt and expect him to use shotguns.
I'm sorry, but just watching him freaking run on the ground on his little stumps, basically his ass. And it's just so cute because, I mean, it looks like...
It's so cute.
It's just like they...
It's like that theme from Bambi. Thumper. Oh, God.
It's
Cheers
just
me
so
up.
cute because, seriously, it's like an... how would I say it? Like an MC Escher, like, painting or something. It's like, he was just standing there when they were pouring the pool foundation. It's like, hey... that guy's buried in that cement foundation.
I just wanted to save him by rushing over, picking him up, and yelling, Hodor. And then I think it would have been awesome.
And so Mr. No Legs and the goons that are trying to take him out, they all wind up in the pool, but Mr. No Legs drowns all these guys.
And apparently it's because they couldn't hold their breath for more than 2 seconds.
Right, right. And also, since he has no legs and does not just sink to the bottom of the pool, I guess his first name must be Bob.
No.
Bob No Legs.
Didn't we already already make that joke?
Yeah,
like,
it
at the
did.
beginning of the
It's
podcast?
fine. We can edit
Paul
that
spoiled
out.
it.
No, we can't because people need to know that I always tell your jokes first. I don't know if that's a good
wrote
thing.
them at either way.
Yeah. And so, while all this is happening, Mr. D'Angelo goes to the downtown drug warehouse distribution center, and Hathaway, who's the chief, meets him there. And then they're followed quickly by Andy and Chuck, who somehow managed to evade detection in a bright orange Trans Am with no muffler. And Andy and Chuck sneak into the warehouse. They're looking around, and Mr. No Legs and Tony get there as well. And so,
a nice little clusterfuck of
we've
plot
got
twists.
a big mess on our hands here. And so, D'Angelo and Chief Hathaway, they realize they've been set up by Mr. No Legs. And they're going to meet him here.
We're now being shown graphical representation of a bear fucking a dolphin.
Wouldn't he be fucking the dolphin in the blowhole? That's the
I'm
question.
pretty sure dolphins,
No, I think
at least the female kinds, have a vagina. There's probably an anus somewhere that's not the blowhole.
Right.
I do not know a lot about dolphin
Yeah,
anatomy.
right. Yeah, right.
I like the idea of this dolphin getting fucked so hard that it comes out coming out of the blowhole.
I'm right there with you.
There she blows.
There was not enough animal abuse in this movie, so we decided to add our own.
We had to add our own. Yeah, we did. And so while this is happening,
Wait, maybe one of us should rape the dolphin.
Not it.
I'm volunteering. I will make that happen.
All right.
so
He's
D'Angelo,
like, it's not rape if they want it.
good lord.
That dolphin didn't tell me no.
We just want to apologize to our dolphin.
Dolphin?
We want to apologize to our dolphin demographic, our fans out there.
We'll be doing a movie here pretty soon with Dolphin Lundgren.
I tell you what, is not no.
That's echolocation to find my dick so they can impale
It
themselves
doesn't
on
know
it.
any better. It's still rape. It's like statutory rape.
Oh my god. Not in dolphin ears, it's not.
Well, I don't know. I like them young.
What if you just get like a fin stroke? What?
If you have sex with the blowhole, is that oral sex?
Blowhole job.
No, it's like
It's nasal.
not
sorta.
even nasal. I guess it'd be like trachea sex.
Oh my god.
I've had that.
Respiratory sex.
I gave a woman a tracheotomy just so I could fuck the hole. Okay, edit that out, please. That whole section needs to die.
So D'Angelo and Hathaway, they realize they've been set up by Mr. No Legs, and he wanted to have them meet there together so that No Legs could kill the both of them.
That shifty little bastard.
And so D'Angelo laughs because he thinks Mr. No Leg has been killed back at his place by the goons.
Which I might add is like he's getting shot and it's serious. It's like a video game or something. Nope, I still got 1% health left. 7, 8 freaking times, and he's still rolling along.
So
No Legs needs food.
Badly.
And it's funny, and he goes and he finds a chicken somewhere, but it has no drumsticks, just the wings and the breasts.
God.
You guys to a restaurant, sir? Would you like to try the frog's legs? I'll fucking kill you!
We could sew them onto your stump so you can hop around a little.
Oh my god.
Leg of lamb? Oh, sorry. Would you like to try the crab legs? Oh, God, I'm so sorry, sir.
So Mr. No Legs confronts
Pig's
D'Angelo. And he shotguns D'Angelo, but he also gets shot by Hathaway.
Do you think Mr. No Legs auditioned for Lord of the Rings to play Legless?
No.
Oh my god.
See right here in the script?
Oh, sweet lord.
Yeah, right.
The rings.
And so Tony gets killed by Chuck at the same time this is happening, Craig. So
I gotta laugh harder at my own jokes than anyone else.
Chuck and Andy, they chase Hathaway out of the warehouse, but he gets away in their Trans Am.
Yeah, are they just leaving their freaking keys in the car? It's like seriously breaking like basic training at cop academy or whatever. It's like never ever leave your keys in the car.
And we see for a minute that it looks like Mr. No Legs might not be dead, even though he's shot. Right?
There's a hand twitch.
There's a hand twitch. Okay.
Is that so they can make the sequel to this god-awful piece of shit?
Maybe. And so the police radio says the chief
He loses an arm.
The chief is trying to get away.
Mr. One Limb.
Just a flesh wound.
Look.
Your arm's off.
The police radio says that the chief is trying to get away, and the cop cars are in hot pursuit. And at one point during the chase, Hathaway appears to drive by the planned community from Over the Edge. If you've seen that movie, it looks just like it. And Hathaway is headed for a drawbridge, and it's just as it's being raised, and no one could have possibly seen this coming.
Over the Hedge? You're talking about the CGI movie?
Yeah, I'm talking about the CGI movie.
With Steve Carell as a
not
squirrel?
Not the 1970s exploitation
Over the
movie
Edge,
with Matt
not
Dillon.
Over the...
Over the Hedge, right?
No.
The one with the furry animal?
No.
And the bear traps?
Over the Edge with Matt Dillon.
Come on,
kids
listen.
with guns.
They were making a point that people would drive giant cars, only they didn't need them. The animals, they didn't know what was going on.
And so Hathaway goes over the
Where the
drawbridge,
hell
but it's
did
only
this
like a
podcast
foot
go?
raised.
Wait, who has a foot raised?
The drawbridge.
It certainly isn't Mr. No Legs.
Hey, you started talking about Over the Hedge, and I got interested in something other than this.
Sadly, that cartoon
So
probably
did
was the
our
better
listeners.
Could we for a minute talk about my colonoscopy?
one. It was less painful than this movie, I'm sure.
So Hathaway jumps over the drawbridge, but then the police car that's like right behind him is in the left lane, and it like takes the top off of like 8 or 9 cars. It had to have killed at least a dozen people.
Yeah. Sunday.
And I had to think to myself, is this the South by Southwest Film Festival or something?
But the people get out of their cars, they're just fine. Like, hey, what's going on?
Okay, all the cops
And they like
in this
surround
movie,
the car and they're like, what are you doing?
all the cops in this movie wear crash helmets.
Yeah.
And there is an endless supply of them.
Yeah.
Crash helmets inside cars.
Yeah. And so at some point during the chase, the police radio lets us know that the suspect is headed for the Picnic Island area.
Oh, is that like Hidden Island from Wang Wang?
Probably.
It's just a picture of a like anamorphous or whatever, amorphous blob on the map with an X in the middle and a little dotted trail.
Secret island that everyone can see over there.
It's all of 20 feet off the coastline.
Oh, you mean Buttfuck Island? No, Secret Island. No, it's Buttfuck Island.
Don't go there, trust me.
Hey,
Unless you like butt fucks, then go there.
Honey, let's cancel our vacation.
This year we're going to Buttfuck Island.
It's not for you, honey. It's more for me.
And so during the chase, one of the cop cars goes through a trailer home. And as the chase escalates, one of the cop cars rolls over once and then immediately catches on fire and explodes because apparently I'm wrong. And this is not the Dead Rising universe. It's the Grand Theft Auto 3 universe.
it's so crazy. It's like this turned into like a Dukes of Hazzard episode. I was just half expecting, waiting for it to all of a sudden pause and be like, "Oh boy, the Duke boys got themselves in a sure heap of trouble now."
Well, again,
I wonder how they're going to get out of this one.
again going back to the balsa wood shortage.
Each. You're right, dude.
Sorry, Paul, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's okay. That was worthy. The balsa wood shortage is because the cop cars were also built out of balsa.
Yeah, I think so. And that trailer home.
The trailer definitely was. That was.
What a poor bastard, man. He's like, you know
it's a
what?
good thing there was no structural members in that portable shelter.
Yeah, but this guy, he was like, you know what? I'm going to go for a drive today. I'm going to take my home that I just bought, and I'm going to go over. Oh, my God! gone! It's fucking destroyed!
It just goes.
My livelihood! Where I sleep! I'm homeless! Where's my journal?
It just goes to prove that old adage: you don't drive your trailer home around Picnic Island.
You know, when you pick up your home in the same place you pick up your hardware, it's just not going to be a good home. You know?
You know, the only good thing about Picnic Island is all the phones.
Yeah.
I thought it was the bears and ties that stole your picnic baskets.
I had to really think about that one, Paul. Like, what is he talking about?
That's usually what everyone thinks when I speak.
So Hathaway in the orange Trans Am, he gets on the train tracks. He gets back on the road and he trades some paint with a couple of cop cars. He flips one of the cops over and makes a run for the docks. But then he wipes out into a giant block of ice, right?
Yeah, it's just he was like no.
No, well, they were out of cardboard boxes at this point.
Yeah, no, there's a bunch of cardboard boxes and stuff, and they just barrel right. They're empty cardboard boxes.
It's an ongoing theme in this movie.
It's apparently, yeah. Well,
It's like, hey, sir, where do you want me to stock all these large, empty cardboard boxes? We got 300 of them. Please put them in that corner. Should we collapse them first so they'll fit somewhere else? No, keep them built in the corner.
In the corner, do you mean in the middle of the road or in the corner?
I'm sorry, did I say the corner? I meant the middle of the road. You're right.
Oh, the middle of the
Stack
road.
in that heavy
Okay.
traffic area. It's like, it's not a good idea, sir.
So he does wind up running through a bunch of ice, right?
Yeah, no, it's like a bunch of ice blocks stacked up on one another, and there happens to be a cop car just chilling out behind it.
Hey, you know what? They were building an igloo in the summer. Get over it.
And so does the car then flip?
No, it just crashes and comes to a stop. The guy
Okay.
was like not wearing a safety belt. Of course, he ends up in the back seat.
And so he's lying there in his own blood
If
on
only
the
they
bench
had to
seat of the
amputate his
car.
legs
It
to
says
get him out of there.
Yeah.
Rosebud marijuana.
He tells Chuck and Andy that he had nothing to do with Tina's death. And he gives them his little black book of drug contacts, right?
I thought it was just his dating contacts.
Okay, maybe.
This is a list of all my honeys.
I'm sorry.
It's just you just drew a bunch of penises in here.
Sir,
really
according to this
confused.
book, you've got hoes in different area codes. And so then the chief dies, and then Andy just kind of sticks his hands in his pockets and walks away. End of the movie.
Wow. All I can say about this movie is that I was in pain the whole time, and I blame Gabe, and he will be receiving a bill for my.
You know what? I agree. Mr. No Legs has no leg to stand on.
Which is interesting that you blame me for this, Greg, considering Paul picked this movie out.
I don't care. I'm still
Okay, I just
blaming
want to be
Gabe.
clear. I don't want to take credit for this.
Hey, the trailer looks so good.
Oh, really?
What part of the
I
trailer
can't
looks
see anything
good?
in this fucking movie that would be put together to be a fucking awesome trailer.
You see
I don't
a
know,
car
if you
running through
took-
boxes like 20 times, you're like, yeah!
I
If
do
you
work
took all
at
the-
UPS.
If you took all the midget fighting scenes or the legless fighting scenes and you put them together, that could make like a good 15-second.
No.
like a pow, and, like that ball
Stomp
to
jump.
ball smash was amazing, and it was in slow motion.
And it was ball to
No,
ball.
you should
It
do
was
it
ball
like
to ball.
this.
It was like straight ball to ball.
But you know, a man with no legs, he has harder balls than other guys. And so
Obviously,
his
'cause he
balls
keeps
crash
on
What
flopping
they should have
down.
done is done some like cutting, and instead of like kicking guys in the nuts with his stumps, he kicks the fucking car into a sheet of ice.
No, the only cutting that was done by on this.
And then when he
movie was
does like
me
another
from
kick
having
with
to
his
see it
stumps, he
and
knocks the
showing-
girl into the fucking TV. You know.
I became a 16-year-old emo girl cutting myself after this movie.
I think
You've
the
been
only
a
cutting they
16-year-old
did was the
emo girl
lines of
for a long
coke
time.
they cut. And thinking of this idea.
So this movie depressed us so much we have no extra content this week.
I'm sorry.
It's so sad.
This movie
You
kills
know,
How long was
creativity.
this podcast?
Over an hour.
This podcast has only been running just under an hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll put something on the end
Just
here.
10 minutes.
Yeah, it's been 10 minutes since we started podcasting.
For the next 15 minutes, you'll be hearing me humming my favorite songs.
So don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow
Not
us
because
on
of this
Twitter at schlocktalk.com.
And
Go to
never
our-
fucking watch this movie.
Never watch this movie.
Oh, I'm sorry. Follow us on Twitter at Talking Schlock. And then check us out on www.schlocktalk.com.
Please do something, because we're lonely, and we only have each other. Frankly, Paul's asshole has gotten so big it can't accommodate me anymore.